Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Eazy-Austin show, starring your host, Eazy-Austin. This episode is going to be talking about moving on. What do I mean by that? Moving on from a spouse, moving on from an ex-wife, ex-husband, moving on from an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, moving on from a situationship, moving on from even friends that drift apart, friends that you bicker and you fight and have a disagreement about something and they do something bad to you and you just cut them off and you don't hear from them again, or they cut you off from something that you didn't know that you did. The aftermath. I'm talking about the aftermath. Like, let's say everything is said and done. They blocked you, whatever. How exactly are you going to move on? That is what I'm going to be talking about today, folks. So, moving on. It is much easier said than done, in my opinion. Much, much easier said than done. People tell you, oh, just move on. Just get over it. Get over yourself. But deep down, we all know. We all know deep down inside that it's really not that simple. It's not as straightforward as it may seem. Whenever you move on, or at least the aftermath, you are always hit with the grief. You are always hit with the memories that you made. And then everything that has transpired from the last moments that you talked, whether it was a fight, whether it was a physical fight, whether if it was a disagreement, an argument, she got mad at you, he got mad at you, or you got mad at her, you got mad at him, it just boiled over. I'm going to talk about breakups specifically, because, my opinion, there are friendship breakups as well. Sometimes those hurt more than actual relationship breakups. The end of a relationship can be tough, even if you yourself realize it's for the best. As you navigate adjusting to a breakup, there are things you can do to help yourself move on and be happy. So, why is dealing with a breakup so damn hard? A breakup is technically a loss, not only of the relationship, but also the plans, the dreams, and the hopes that you shared with your once partner. Many people feel disappointment, grief, and a sense of failure when the relationship ends. And breakups often mean a big change in your daily routine. This kind of abrupt change can feel absolutely overwhelming to you, and you end up not knowing what to do. In addition to your routine, who you spend time with may change as well. You may lose other relationships associated with your ex-partner. If you do maintain relationships associated, those relationships may change in some way. But most of all, your sense of self can be impacted. One thing I can say about moving on and just trying to let go, one thing that I know is to just feel the feelings. You will likely experience many conflicting emotions. Ignoring or suppressing them will only make the grieving process harder and longer. Allow yourself to experience your feelings. Know that they are only temporary, that they will pass. It was really hard for me one time to come to grips with the fact that a former best friend was not the way I thought they would be, was not who I thought they were, and it was very harrowing for me. It was such a big blow to, like, my heart. Like, it was a knife to the soul. That's the best way I can describe it. A knife to the soul, a damaging thing. The person that you thought of them was never how they were in the first place. And that's kind of difficult to process sometimes. Because everything you knew about that person, all that time that you've been with them, and then all of a sudden they just show a side of them that they never showed you before. But it's their real side. It's tough. I'm not saying it's easy. It's super tough to come to grips with. Allowing yourself to feel everything. Allow yourself to feel all that pain, all that emotion, all that anger, that sadness, that just everything. Just allow yourself to feel it. If you feel the need to cry, cry your damn heart out. If you feel the need to punch something and be angry about it, just do it. You're human. All humans have emotions, whether angry, sad, happy. Humans are emotional, social creatures. Just allow yourself to feel it. No matter what point you are in the in the stage of letting go and moving on. Whether it's right after it, like a few days after it, or even a week after, a month after, a couple months after, just allow it to happen. Another thing, and one thing that I didn't have, support. Please have a great support system. Reach out to friends and family who are supportive. Connecting with others will make you feel less alone. Try to find a balance between talking about the breakup and engaging in other topics and activities. Prioritize your time with those who support, value, energize you, and minimize time with those people who don't seem to understand and don't support you. If you lost a lot of friends when the relationship ended, work on meeting new people with whom you can develop new friendships. Try new things. Consider joining a student/club organization, or just go to some place that you haven't been to before, Walk outside, clean, buy a plant, and take care of it. That's one way to really do it. The next thing is to remember that your goal is to move on and be happy. It is important to experience and express them, but you don't want to get stuck in negative thinking. Overanalyzing the past and resenting your ex-partner will sap your energy and make it hard to move forward. I agree with that. It's funny to me how I said in a previous episode that for me, having those people do you dirty will give you your sense of self-worth, and you know what you bring to the table. You know exactly how you are, and you just see your value more in a strange and twisted way. It often changes a lot of things. Just know that it's the goal. Something happened, the end of a relationship or friendship, anything happened, and I know, again, it's important it's important to experience and express them. But what we don't want to do is get stuck in negative thinking, because if we keep thinking about it, then we're going back to the past. And you're not there anymore. The relationship is the past. What you're in now is you're single. You are single now. You have one less friend now, and there's nothing you can do about it other than just move on. Even if you tried everything, even if you tried to fix everything, sometimes things just don't work out. That's life. Life happens. It's life. Nothing in life is perfect. You can do a lot for a person and things can still go sour. That's just how it is. You can only control what you feel. You can't control how others feel. Overanalyzing everything, wishing what you could have done differently, wishing things could have been different, wishing things were actually different. The better thing to do is not resent your partner, your ex-partner, and just let them be and just do you. It'll only sap your energy in the end. You won't have as much energy. You're putting your energy towards a place where it's not supposed to be. If we put our energy towards moving on, towards how can I become better? How can I know now from what I learned back then to apply it to right now and moving forward? That's what you should do. That's the only way you can ever look back to the past. Okay, I learned this from that. How can I take that and apply it to my current situation and what I want my situation to be moving forward for the future? Speaking of which, be hopeful about the future. Remember, there's going to be many opportunities that will come your way. Many you might not even be able to imagine right now. You never, ever know what could be next for you. I had absolutely no idea that I was going to be working for Disney at one point in my life. At all. I never knew. I would have never thought. If you were to tell me a year ago at this point, if you were to tell me a year ago, a 25-year-old Eazy-Austin, hey, in a couple months, in about July, mid-July, you are going to be working for Disney. I would have been like, what? And I'll be like, yeah, you're going to work for Disney. Have fun. And I'll just be like, wow, I'm going to work for Disney, apparently. And then fast forward to now, still working there, still loving it. It wasn't even in my radar to work for Disney, and now I have all these nice benefits, and I'm just I'm chilling right now. And not even just that, like not even new job opportunities, new opportunities to meet new people, new opportunities to do different things, new opportunities for anything, for new hobbies, for just new things in your life. Here's how I see it. You plant a tree, right? The tree grows, you have some first leaves, right? Then some leaves start to die off. They start to wither. They start to get crinkly and old and withered away. And then the leaf falls. But you keep watering that same plant, guess what? A new leaf takes its place. The same thing can be applied to your life. Whatever is old, whatever doesn't belong, will always leave. And it welcomes new opportunities, new friends, new people into your life. Those new people will take your place, and it's new, and you start fresh. They don't know anything that you've done. You don't know anything that they've done. And it's nice. It's nice meeting somebody new, in my personal opinion. You get to see how they act. You get to see what their mindset is. Like, you might have the same hobbies in common that you both do, and you could develop a friendship over that. Pay attention to how you are doing overall. Like, pay attention to yourself. Like, what is your body telling you? What is your mind telling you? You know? What's your heart telling you? Notice if your reaction to the breakup is causing so much difficulty for you that it's too hard to manage things at school, like school or work. It's an indicator that getting additional help may be needed. Consider individual or group counseling services like PACS. I fortunately never needed therapy to move on from anything. If it's harrowing for me, there were times where I thought, oh, I can't make it, I can't do this. But here I am many years later, just doing it, just doing life. But pay attention to how you're feeling. How do you feel? Like, every single day, just check with yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm not trying to talk about like Ice Cube's song, okay? Like, actually do so. If you feel like you're not in it today, if it's on your day off, let's say, when you have your day off, just check in with yourself. Do you feel like you can conquer the world? Then go ahead and conquer the world. Go ahead and do those stuff that you said you were gonna do. But if you don't feel like it, that's okay. There's always like opportunities for you to lay down, rest. Maybe later I'll feel better. Like, check in with yourself like that. Speaking of which, take care of yourself. Nurture yourself. Try to do something like calming, soothing every day. Things to try like meditation, yoga, journaling, music, progressive muscle relaxation, take a walk, anything that you find soothing, relaxing, like puts you at peace, gives you serenity, makes you comfortable. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, soothing, peaceful, giving yourself a bath, getting a massage from somebody, sleeping or whatever, just laying somewhere nice, soft, warm, swimming or something, like just cooling yourself off, like go ahead and do so. Pamper yourself even if you have to. Spoil yourself, like buy something new for yourself that even if you don't necessarily need it, but it's something you always wanted, just go ahead and do it. Also listen to what you need. It's important to be able to say no when you really don't want to do something. And know that what you need will change day to day, even from moment to moment. If you need something 1 minute, but then you don't need it the next, just try to listen to that. If you need it, go ahead. If you don't need it, that's okay too. Also accept that your emotions will fluctuate. Like previously stated before, you are going to feel every single emotion in the book. Every single emotion that you could feel confused. Why did that happen? You could feel sad. I don't want that thing to happen, and I feel so fucking sad about it. You could feel angry even. Like, I cannot believe this happened. This should not have happened. This is wrong. Healing from a breakup is not a smooth, linear process. You will feel better over time. It's not steady. I tried to explain this to somebody when they were going through a breakup, that it's not linear. Will think you're doing okay 1 minute, and then the next minute you are just breaking down and just letting it happen. But let yourself feel that. Let yourself cry. Let yourself feel sad. Let yourself be angry about it. Let yourself feel all of it. Otherwise, you'll just keep bottling it up. You'll just keep bottling it up and then it'll just explode and then you'll be a mess. It's just a mess. Your emotions will fluctuate and that's fine. You'll feel one thing one minute and then another thing the next. Find a new routine as well. It can be comforting to have structure in your life. That's a great word. Structure. With your routine, getting up, making your bed, next thing you do, go to the restroom, toothbrush, brushing your teeth. That's my routine. I'm just explaining my routine. Then just going out and greeting my parents good morning, sitting at the table, just relaxing for a minute, and waiting for breakfast to be made. Or if no breakfast is made, then I'll just sit down and I'll make my own. I'll just sit down and we'll talk for a little bit, and then we'll see what we do for the day. That's my routine. And if I'm working that day, I'll be like, I'll do the same thing, but then I'll put my uniform on. I'll put my costume on. I cannot believe I said I'm gonna get crucified by Disney because I said uniform. It's a costume. It's a Disney costume. But that's my routine. That's the structure that I have. If I have to go to work, I'll just put it on and then I'll say, hey, I always leave 2 hours before my shift time. Always. Because I never know if there's going to be traffic on the way there. I never know. Usually I make it there like about an hour before, or maybe an hour and 15. It also says wait. You don't want to make big decisions while you're feeling very emotional. That's another thing, to wait. Wait until you feel better. Wait until something, bigger arrives. Wait until you feel better. Wait for something to happen. A lot of people have impatience. That's one thing. Like, people do not have patience nowadays. With certain things, I get it. Like, you want stuff to happen now. Like, some people don't have patience. Waiting is definitely crucial. It's important. It's essential to give yourself time to heal and just take it day by day. That's what I tell everybody. Take it day by day, because that's how we live life. Taking it day by day. That's exactly what we do with our day-to-day life. Take it as such. You are obviously, with a big project, let's say, you are not going to finish it in a day. There is no possible way that a teacher's going to give you something like, well, you have a month to do it. Okay, I'll use this whole month. I'll start one way. I'll do some research first, do that. If I find some interesting things, I'll just put it down. And then work my way up each day and then putting more stuff together, and everything will be fine. Be healthy. Avoid using alcohol, drugs, or food to cope with your emotions. There's healthier ways to cope with your distress. Focus on basics, getting enough sleep, eating right, and exercising. So you don't want to indulge yourself in like the most disgusting foods, People always tell me to exercise. People always tell me to like walk, take a brisk walk, like punch something, or just lift weights if you need to, like getting all that anger out. Just use your energy until you expel it. If you feel so much stress, that's what I would do. Either talk about it, like letting it all out, or just punching something, or when I feel tired, just do it. Motion is lotion for your body. That's what it is. Motion is lotion. The more you move around, the less stiff you will be, the more fluid you are, the more dexterous you will be. Embrace the new. Try out new interests and fun activities which allow you to enjoy things. Go to a new place, hang out. You might meet some new people. You never know. Welcome new things. Embrace the new. Change is not always bad. I know a lot of people that say, oh, I hate change. I like things the way that they are. I like things staying the way that they are for many years to come. And to that I say, like, why? Don't you get tired of, the same old thing every single day? Like, imagine if everybody wore the same clothes, everybody had the same hairstyle, same house, said the same things every single day, drove the same car, went to the same workplace, everybody has the same workstation, same computer, same pencil, same chair, same table, same boss. It would feel mundane and nothing would surprise you. That's why we have new, different things come out every so often. Every year, new games come out. Every year, new TV shows come out. Every year, Like new clothes, new things. Embrace new change and just accept it. Accept that this is new. Accept the new things. I will never understand why people like have that mentality of I do not like change. I like things the way they are. Not all change is bad. Change can always be a good thing. There are some bad changes, I get it, but not all change is bad. Set limits on social media also. It may be tempting, but it's not helpful to spend time looking at your ex-partner's social media posts. That's another thing. Going back to your ex-partner, right? You don't want to see what they're doing. And this goes back to going back to the past. You do not live there anymore. The lease expired on that. The lease expired. You just don't live there anymore. You sold everything. You don't live there. The house is in a new apartment, like belongs to a new owner. Like you don't live there anymore. You don't live in the past. That's what that's what most people don't understand. You do not live in the past. The past is the past, and that's all the past will ever be. Live in the now. Like Edna Mode said, I never look back, darling. It distracts from the now. I don't even know how good my Edna Mode impression was, but listen to Edna Mode, what she just said there. She never looks back. It distracts from the now. Edna Mode is a queen for saying that, okay? Listen to Edna Mode. Never, ever. That's the last thing you don't want to do. Because when you look back, you are much farther away from your goals. Embrace the new. Set limits on social media. Do not look at your partner's social media because then you are looking back. You are looking back, wanting things to be the way they were, and it's not that anymore. It's just not. Possible lessons to be learned from a breakup. A breakup is an opportunity to reevaluate your own life and learn about yourself and your relationships. Some questions to ask yourself when you are ready. Do you notice a pattern in the types of people you seek out to have relationships with? What are the pattern and types? Do you notice the same thing happening every single time that you get into a new relationship? What happens? You talk to somebody, they get tired of you, and then they leave? Okay, there could be a possible reason for that. Maybe it's because you don't know who you are yet. Maybe there's a problem with you. That's another thing. There's most people that never ever think that they're the problem. They can never ever admit that they're wrong. And that's a humongous flaw in a lot of people, that they can never admit that they're wrong. They always think that they're right. They always think that their way is the right way. Like, not everything is your way. Not everything you say is right. Not everything you do is right. Or not everything you will say is right. Not everything that you will do is right. It's okay, and that's okay. We're not perfect. How do you react to stress and conflict? Are there some different ways you could react that might improve your relationships with others? That's another question. You need to learn how to control emotions. Controlling your emotions is very crucial to life. My dad always tells me, you cannot control what happens outside. You can always control what happens inside. You can always control how you react to stuff. You can always focus on the things that you can control. Have you reacted a certain way? Okay, I can control that. I can control my emotions. I can control my life. Take control. It's like Bane in the Dark Knight Rises. Take control. Take control of your city. How open are you to accepting others for how they really are instead of pushing them to be something you think they should be? This is a really good question. I love this question. How open are you to accepting others for who they are rather than for who you think they should be or who you want them to be? That's a really good question to ask yourself. You should always, 100% of the time, take people for how they are, not how you think they should be. Just take people for how they are. Don't go by their words, go by their actions. Actions will always 100% be louder than words. One quote that I saw online is that your disrespect was so loud, but your apologies to me did not make one sound. And that says a lot. So if their disrespect is loud, that's who they are. Whatever they tell you, don't listen to them. I will never let stuff slide anymore. Like, you do one wrong thing to me and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it from me. Do you tend to change yourself drastically when you are in a relationship to be who you think your partner wants you to be? This is another good question I like. If your partner does not accept you for who you are, you should let them go and break up with them. If your partner is trying to change you in some way, if your partner is trying to like form you and take control of your life, let them go. Push them away if you have to. 9 times out of 10, they'll ruin your life. They'll make you stop talking to your family, make you stop talking to your friends. They'll do everything they can to ruin you. Because in reality, they don't actually love you like they say they do. They might buy you flowers. They might do all these different things. Look at what they really do. A person that loves you would not want to change a single thing about you. A person that really loves you will love you for exactly who you are, not for who they want you to be or not who they think you should be. And if you're changing yourself for them, take a look at yourself. If you're changing yourself just so you can either impress them or do stuff to, get their attention, when their attention should already be on you from the get-go. And I always tell this to people, the person that loves you should love you from the very beginning, from the very first day. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. A person that loves you will love you from the very, very beginning. If they take interest in you, then that means they have some sort of internal feeling about you, like, damn, this girl's really good. I think I like this girl. I want to spend time with this girl, Stuff like that. Do you feel in control of your feelings, or do they seem like they control you? It always goes back to control. Are you in control of who you are, or are they in control of who you are? It should always be the first thing. You should always be in control. If they seem like they're controlling you, take the control back. Don't ever let anybody control you. You are the only person that you should control. And if other people can't see that, then sayonara. Are you able to clearly communicate your needs and desires to others? Communication and comprehension often get overlooked. Well, more so comprehension gets overlooked. We always talk about, communicate. You should always talk to the people, talk to your friends, talk to them, because they never know. You never know what they could be thinking. You just, talk it out. That's how things get worked out. Talk it out. But what about comprehension? What use is it if I talk to somebody and they have absolutely no idea what the fuck I'm talking about? What is the use if it goes one ear and out the other? What is the use if I tell them everything, they go, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then they completely disregard everything that you said. So then what was the use of talking to them if they don't comprehend, if they don't listen, if they don't understand what you're saying? So the question was, are you able to clearly communicate your needs and desires to others? If you can't do that, then you're not doing it right. Looking back, what were some things you might have done to contribute to the problems in the relationship? Again, none of us are perfect. None of us will ever know what we could have done differently. Or even if we had done those things differently, what would be the outcome of those things by doing those things? And sometimes that just doesn't happen. It messes with your mind mentally of like thinking about it. But like, things happen for a reason. Every single thing happens for a reason. If you can't accept that, then you would need professional counseling and you would need to seek help. When thinking about the questions, be honest with yourself and do not beat yourself up over past behavior, which is never ever helpful. Keep the focus on what you can do to help make better choices. But that's the thing. Control your emotions, and if they happen, let them happen. Don't boil over. Don't take it out on anybody. Especially, don't take it out on your former ex-partner. Especially if y'all are good friends, because then it could just boil over and then y'all would end up not talking anymore. Intimacy is fertile ground for enmeshment, and soon we can feel like the other person is an extension of ourselves. We often find moments of security and comfort in the presence of our partners. We invest ourselves in the relationship, making compromises, space, and adjustments to our schedules to let someone else be a part of our lives. Losing them can mean losing a part of ourselves that we had nurtured for so long. Needless to say, this void yearns to be filled again. Hence, the end of a relationship can present many challenges in your life, which can take the time to process and heal from. It may have an impact on you both mentally and physically. It is important to know that this is all normal. Cutting ties from an intimate relationship can feel like a psychological amputation. Post-operation, we are presented with a range of conflicting emotions that are difficult to understand. Some people might feel overwhelmed by guilt and self-doubt, while others find it relieving but also experience a sense of loss. You may also start wondering why the relationship ended and perceive it as a failed relationship, which can negatively affect your self-esteem. All of this emotional burden can feel like too much to deal with. What makes a difference in being able to cope is recognizing that these emotions are valid and are seeking a channel for expression through you. What helps is being able to cope in acknowledging and allowing yourself to experience the emotions, as suppressing them will only make the grieving process harder and even longer. Remind yourself that the feelings are temporary and they will pass, even if it takes a little longer than you expect. Breaking up is not just for the mind, but our bodies also experience the tumults and quakes of severed ties. What is felt in the heart is often manifested in the body. There are so many great movies that have depicted the process of breaking up, because most of us go through at some point and can understand the sadness and romance of it all. The character is shown as dejected, despondent, unmotivated to carry out tasks, and more so as physically affected. The stereotype on screen is a person with disheveled hair, at home in PJs, eating a lot of ice cream. Some of these film representations are not too far from the truth. During a breakup, the body vacillates between the numbness and hypersensitivity. You might feel too cold or too hot, too sleepy from sleeplessness, too hungry to have no appetite at all. For some, breakups can be a traumatic event, and it's not uncommon to experience nightmares, insomnia, and flashbacks at the breakup. All these sudden changes are stressful, exhausting, and energy expensive, leading to a sense of heaviness. It feels like your body can sometimes not escape. Dealing with breakups look different for everybody. Here are some tips that may help you to recover your previous relationships. We may binge watch a show, or we may want to bounce back to dating immediately and focus on the next relationship or seek support from friends. Every individual takes to the breakup in a different form, as we all process grief and separation differently and have different needs. However, we can classify the way we can cope broadly into avoidance strategies and approach strategies. If you ever watch Gilmore Girls, then you know one way to avoid it is wallow for as long as it takes. This means sitting around in PJs having tubs of ice cream and the classic leftover pizza. This is the time we want to deny the pain, and it is very natural to do so in the process of healing from a breakup. It is human to look for a comfort zone when we suffer. For a fresh start, we ought to step out of the avoidance bubble once in a while and take baby steps towards approaching the unpleasant, while also ensuring that we don't overwhelm our mental resources. If a breakup is like falling off a bike, the tub of ice cream is like applying a band-aid. The bike is still on the ground, left unattended. Approach the bike and get back on it requires you to reflect the process and the pain with self-compassion, allowing that void to fill slowly and gently on its own. Instead, you can try to practice mindfulness and self-compassion with the mental health app and learn to love yourself and deal with the emotionals during a difficult time. Yeah, this is about an app. I don't need that. I don't freaking need that. Healing from a relationship wounds is not a linear process. You can find yourself back to square one when you thought you were over it. This can be frustrating and make you feel like you've made no progress. Nothing could be further from the truth. The fact that you're re-experiencing it means that some part of you have found closure, and your mind has found new residual attachment that it wants to address. During these moments, it's important to remind yourself that residual attachment exists only in the realm of the past. If love is like a seed that is awaiting nurturance to grow and blossom, a residual attachment is more like mushrooms growing on dead wood. There's life, but it's not the plant itself that's alive. There is no one way to get over a breakup quickly, and you cannot give it a timeline. The return to normality isn't necessarily a short flight. It could be by a highway or a bumpy road. But it is a very personal process of dealing with sadness and a broken heart. This process will happen at its own pace, at everyone and their own internal clock and time to deal with challenges. Be patient with yourself and be forgiving. The readjustment to your own environment is important because your former partner was a part of your world, your personal routine, and probably your social life as well. Post breakup, going back to the previous state is difficult, maybe impossible. As the saying goes, you may never step into the same river twice. The mammoth task of accepting that a relationship is over needs to be internalized. You need to slowly get used to their absence. There could be parts of your day that might remind you of them, but for example, getting your evening cup of coffee might feel confusing and disorienting for a while, even if you were in the habit of sharing that ritual at time with them. Hang in there, it will get better. The dance class you always wanted to join but couldn't because you didn't have the time, join it. Try doing some new things after you break up. This will help you feel independent and curious. It will also help you rely on your inner strength to function well in new groups. Spending time with yourself and focusing on things you like or want to do will give you a chance to learn a new skill, meet new people, new friends, and will add to your confidence. In times of crisis, it is always helpful to have a support system to break your fall. A breakup is one such crisis where the safety blanket provided by friends and family can help you to pause, take respite, and eventually start moving forward. If you find yourself retracting into your shell instead, that is absolutely fine. When you are ready to come out and give people a chance, at least a few minutes a week. If there's anything that adds salt to your wounds, it is channeling the negative emotions onto social media via the more obvious methods like revenge posting. Also, the more subtle fixes from satisfying the urge to check up on your ex. The satisfaction stems from a false sense of continuity. For brief moments, we fill the void with their Instagram status updates. It's sort of like blowing air into a burst tire, a wasted effort that leaves us feeling worse each time. Next time you get the urge, try to surf through it as if it was a wave, even if the towering waves come crashing down at sea level. As time passes, try to take some time out to reflect on what led to the end. You may do this with the help of your friends or a family member. You may be able to handle this yourself, but it's alright to seek help from a professional as you reach this milestone. While some breakups can be relieving and some come knocking on your door after some time has passed, loss needs to be addressed. The end of an attachment needs acknowledgement from our psychological health. This acknowledgement means looking at our own feelings and accepting that it is right to miss that person. In the end, this is the time we ask ourselves if our past relationship could be a learning experience in our lives. An emotionally charged brain often sees things in black and white and leaves little room for exploring the gray. Having a third-person perspective can help us in these circumstances to identify our blind spots. You might find yourself too close to the storm to make objective judgments. Seeking a professional to zoom out and reflect can make this journey a lot easier. Being social beings, we all crave a connection, someone who we can call home. We invest in the relationship by making compromises, space, and adjustments to our schedules to let someone else be a part of us in our lives. We get used to the presence. Losing this can be very difficult. You may experience this like, is this the same exact thing? Someone else be a part of our lives. I feel like that's the same exact thing that I just read. This is a lot to go through, but I might actually end it off here. I know it's like 10 minutes to an hour, but I mean, like, I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say, so there's really no reason to really go on. So I want to hear your guys' opinions too about ways that you have moved on from a man or a woman, or ways that you cope from loss, and ways that helped you become better. So thank you guys so much for listening to the Eazy-Austin show. You guys know my socials. This is Eazy-Austin signing out.